I'm Zach the History Dog, and I made a time machine. It's going to take us to the most amazing places in history. Imagine seeing the dinosaurs or meeting famous inventors. I will be taking a rich married couple through time, but they don't know it yet. They like seeing new places and learning about that place's history, so they hired me to be their guide. Well, I one-upped them. It is the year 2243, where dogs ruled the earth and humans were dogs' pets. This is because of the Great Dog and Human War.
Zach was an old bulldog. He loved history. He spent hours reading about ancient civilizations, great battles, and legendary figures. His curiosity knew no bounds. He read about it all the time. John was a dachshund. He was one of the 2 married dogs that hired Zach. John was always hungry. He loved cheesesteaks. He could eat them all day long if he had the chance. Christina was a poodle. She was very strict. She liked things to be just right. Everything had to be in its place, and she always followed the rules. She made sure everyone else did too. She liked things to be just right. Her friends often joked that she could organize a tornado if she had to, but they all appreciated her attention to detail. One day, John and Christina wanted to go to England and find a guide to teach them history about places he would take them. Zach told John and Christina a secret. He had been working on the time machine for years, and it was finally ready. They could hardly believe it. The adventure of a lifetime was about to begin.
It's ready, let's go!
Zach's time machine was very strange. It was in his bathtub. It was full of wires and lights. Zach had helped to build it. He had help from a dragon lord. The dragon lord was very old and wise. He knew a lot about time and space. He knew how to travel through time.
Where are we going?
To 1985, to the Live Aid concert.
Zach, John, and Christina climbed into the time machine. It was very cramped. The time machine started to shake. It made a very loud noise. Then everything went dark.
Wow.
When they opened their eyes, they were in a big stadium. Music was playing. People were everywhere. John smelled cheesesteaks. He ran off to find some.
Christina just loved Tom Petty. She was dancing to the music.
Zach was watching Run DMC. They were his favorite.
Suddenly, everything stopped. The music stopped. The people froze. It was as if time itself had come to a standstill. The air was thick with anticipation, and everyone felt an inexplicable sense of awe and wonder. The crowd, which had been buzzing with excitement just moments before, was now eerily silent. A bright light filled the sky. It was so intense that it seemed to turn night into day. The light was mesmerizing, drawing everyone's gaze upward. Then, out of this radiant brilliance, a figure began to take shape. A dog appeared. But it was not a regular dog. This dog was unlike any other. Its fur shimmered with an ethereal glow, and its eyes sparkled with wisdom and power. It was clear that this was no ordinary canine. It was huge. It glowed. The sheer size and luminosity of the dog left everyone in awe. It stood majestically, exuding an aura of divinity and strength. The crowd could hardly believe their eyes.
"I am a dog god!" Its voice boomed across the field, resonating with authority and grace. The declaration was both shocking and awe-inspiring. The crowd listened in stunned silence, hanging on to every word. "There are dogs from the future here!" the dog god continued, its voice filled with a sense of purpose. It spoke of a time far beyond their own, a world that was both fascinating and terrifying. The year 2243. The revelation sent shockwaves through the crowd. The future seemed so distant, yet here was a being from that very time standing before them. In their time, dogs ruled the world, the dog god proclaimed. The idea was both thrilling and unsettling, a world where dogs were the leaders, guiding humanity with their wisdom and strength.
Zach, John, and Christina were scared. They had never been called out by anything like this before. Their hearts raced and their minds were filled with questions and doubts. They didn't know what to do. The world as they knew it had been turned upside down. The appearance of the dog god had changed everything, leaving them to wonder what the future held.
"Zach, you must go to Germany, the year 1989. You will know when you get there." Confused. "Why?"
The light disappeared. The music started again. The people unfroze. It was like nothing had happened. None of the humans remembered what just happened. Zach was worried. He had been feeling this way for days, ever since he was told by the dog god they had to go to Germany. Zach couldn't shake something big. Something that involved how the dog god knew about them so well. The uneasy feeling that had settled in his chest. He knew there was more to this trip than it was letting on. He knew why they had to go to Germany. It wasn't just a casual trip or a vacation. There was a mission, a purpose behind it. Zach had stumbled upon some old documents in the attic, papers that hinted at a secret that had been buried for decades. The clues pointed to Germany, and the year 1989 was circled in red ink. But he didn't want to tell John and Christina. He wasn't sure how they would react. Would they believe him, or would they think he was just being paranoid? Zach decided to keep the information to himself for now. He needed to gather more evidence before he could convince them of the truth.
Finishing his cheesesteak. What are we waiting for? Let's go. John was always the impatient one, eager to jump into action without thinking things through. Christina, on the other hand, was more cautious. She looked at Zach, sensing that something was bothering him.
Zach started to laugh. It was an unexpected reaction, even for him. The tension that had been building up inside him suddenly burst out in the form of laughter. It was as if he couldn't contain it any longer. It wasn't a nice laugh. It was a laugh filled with a mix of relief and madness. John and Christina exchanged worried glances. They had never seen Zach like this before. His laughter echoed through the garden, unsettling everyone around. It was a crazy laugh. He was excited. The idea of uncovering a long-lost secret thrilled him to his core. Despite the fear and uncertainty, there was a part of him that couldn't wait to see what they would find in Germany. They climbed back into the time machine. The device was a marvel of technology, something they had discovered during their previous adventures. It had the power to take them to any point in time, and now it was set for Germany, 1989. They set the controls for Germany, 1989. The year was significant, marking the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of an era. Zach couldn't help but wonder what role they would play in the events that were about to unfold, and with a flash of light, they were gone. The time machine whirred to life, enveloping them in a bright glow. In an instant, they were transported to a different time and place, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in Germany.